Hey, great day, y'all. Welcome back to a office chit chat. Today's going to be a little bit different. I am going to be taking you behind the scenes of what has been happening in my business over the last year and a half since January of 2023, then moving into right now, fourth quarter 2024. So at the time of this recording, it is October 2nd. We are officially in the fourth quarter, and I've been doing a lot of reflection, and I thought that it would be a grand old time to remove the curtain just a little bit more because I've been talking about this topic, hinting at certain things through my car chit chats, through my audio podcasts, and I think it's time that I actually sat down and just speak to the person who maybe in business you feel like things aren't working out the way that they should. Maybe in personal life, some things on the other side of business is impacting your business. Now, I know that these aren't the type of conversations that typically and organically would come up like in our coaching community or, I have different programs online. I know that sometimes these topics don't come up, but I do know that they're there because of the way that people comment on certain podcasts. They get into my DMs, and maybe if I'm talking to someone one-on-one, they of course tell us a little bit more. When I say us, it'll either be me or my team, and of course we'll keep that information confidential. But I want to talk about what does slowing down to speed up really mean. So this won't be your typical like workshop type, you know, podcast or video. This is really me pulling back the curtain to show you the mind processes and the heartache that I've had to endure, or that I'm going to say I chose to endure based off the choices that I made in my business to be able to have some significant shifts and aha moments. And I don't regret anything. I don't regret or resent any choices that I made. When I go through seasons like this, it actually makes me stronger. And I always say, when you go through something, you will be a walking testimony for someone who's watching or listening. So just so that I can stay on track, I am going to, if you watch me on the video, you'll definitely see me look down at my phone. Typically, I would cut these things out, but I'm not. This is going to be a very raw conversation. And if you're listening on the podcast, if you just go to Dr. TK and on YouTube, you will see the video version of what we're talking about today. But if you, just choose to tap in audio, that's perfectly fine. Just that if there's some pauses or something like that, then you may want to go, watch the video. So life and business updates. So I'm going to call this first section like slow down to speed up. So I started my coaching business out loud in 2018. Okay. And when I say out loud, it just means that I was coaching mental health providers and business owners of just how to start up their business with general paperwork, behind the scenes. So I would be helping people through word of mouth, whether it be people at my old job because they found out that I was doing business, I was doing workshops, I was doing speaking engagements, I was helping out people I went to grad school with, my friends, but it was pretty much never on social media. The only thing that you would see me talking about on social media, to be quite frank, is my health business at the time. I was doing health coaching and I clearly had a private practice. So I was talking about my expertise in that particular arena. So over time, I realized that there were clearly things that I didn't know, but I never thought about like where I would be at in 5 years, how much money I wanted to make. Honestly, I was doing a lot of stuff I was doing for fun because I'm a good teacher and people would ask me questions. Now, what happened when I started putting it online is that it was a slow pace. It wasn't like overnight still, but I started to see the pace pick up because I was super intentional with what I was posting, letting people know, hey, I'm taking on one-on-one clients. But then again, the reason it was slow was because they were like, clients for what? Therapy? So I then realized, oh wait, I need to brand myself and tell people what else I do besides hosting workouts in my garage at my house or in my backyard. I was doing like my own boot camps fitness wise, right? Or taking people along the journey of my fitness journey myself or some of my health clients, or clearly my private practice. And over time, I had even integrated the two of, what does physical health do to your mental health kind of thing. So I was attracting a lot of women who wanted to have a baby, who had started their career, who wanted to get in shape. And I wasn't, and I'm not a certified trainer. And I made that very clear. I focus on the mindset that you should want to adopt in order for you to follow through like on your goals, right? So that is where I was in 2019. In 2019, I made a lot of shifts. I started joining courses, coaching programs, et cetera, et cetera. That's all on other, podcast episodes. But it led me to speeding up the process of building out systems so that I can launch my first group coaching program. So I actually launched a group coaching program before I launched what most people know as DTA, Private Practice Academy. There were a lot of failed launches. There were smaller launches related to mindset and business before DTA came about in 2019. So when 2019 hit, I launched DTA. Everything was great. I got the 12 students that I wanted to manifest. My personal life was popping. I had a group practice. I was fine, right? Got remarried, had my first biological child, had a stepchild. I was good. And then in 2020, we all know what happened there, but it was my time, I thought back then, to slow down. So because I went into 2020 with the vision of I'm already in like a mastermind, I have this goal of doing X with like my private practice in terms of slowing down so that I can pick up the pace in my group coaching programs and also offer some one-on-one coaching packages again, which then birthed into the mastermind later on that year. It's just that things clearly, as we all know, went very fast. And I end up, like most, doubling and tripling my caseload when I was supposed to be cutting back my caseload. But my coaching business took off as well. When I look back, the one thing that comes to mind in terms of how I did it, it was being relentless about my goals, being resilient in terms of if things didn't work out, I would just try it again because that's just who I am innately, And then also, I am a good multitasker when I have help. So a lot of people say like I am multifaceted, I have a lot of different interests. I want to have multiple streams of income and all that is great. But if your energy, excuse my language, looks shitty in those streams of income, and if your systems aren't set up in those businesses for you to, let's just say, put out one and then allow it to run while you go attend to another. If the other one sinks while you move to the other one, you actually don't have a successful multiple streams of income business. Sorry to tell you. Okay. So I realized that I wanted what's called a pulse on every stream of income that I had, especially if it was more active income. Passive income would be, which we had done before, even with DTA, to a degree with the launch, is that it was on automated webinar pilot where somebody can go watch a video for an hour, they can sign up for DTA, and then the active part will be when they get into the coaching program. Clearly, I coach them in a group. So 2020 went very fast. During 2020, I did everything pretty much online until the end of the year. Clearly, nobody was traveling that year, at least in California. And at the end of 2020, I ended up traveling to Las Vegas, having my very first in-person mastermind. I had a CE workshop at my office before. I had a Airbnb therapist branding retreat in 2019, which was what I was supposed to do in May 2020, but then couldn't have that. And so I decided to get a group of therapists. It was supposed to be 12. It ended up being 6 because we had to do the whole health waiver thing and some people, couldn't come. And so we got 6 people in the room and I launched our Elite Therapist Coaching Mastermind known as ECM. That was the first year of that program. That program is very different than most of my programs because they have more accessibility. They have one-on-one access, whether it be Zoom calls and or Voxer. Depending on the year, we switched up the container, but most importantly, they have in-person live events because it's the mastermind experience that actually makes the program. What somebody can do in an in-person mastermind will catapult their business for the next 90 days, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, right? So after 2020 and 2021, I was like, okay, if this is what happened in 2020, let me go ahead and figure out what I want to do in 2021. So I need to expand my team. Expanding doesn't mean necessarily more people, but it may mean investing in the people that are on your team, maybe promoting the people that are on your team. So I was doing a little bit of that. And I had at one point, no more than 8 people on my team. It included people in the US and people overseas in the Philippines. I had a video editor, podcast editor, events coordinator, YouTube team, virtual assistant full-time, customer service rep. That position was hard to fill because people didn't know how to work from home, starting in 2020. And then I would have help here and there in the back office of my business. So moving forward, 2021 was fun. We had going on like CE workshops for therapists, digital product programs and workshops. I was posting like 100 podcast episodes in 1 year, starting from 2020 to 2021. And then in 2022, I slowed down a little bit. It still probably got to like 80, but my goal wasn't 100 because I shifted my focus into like running my coaching programs. So if you're listening to me right now, you probably tired as hell, right? Like, girl, like breathe, because I didn't know what was about to happen in 2020. So what I'm also trying to drop is like, sometimes when you desire something, when it rains, it pours. And I didn't really understand that concept until it started happening. And then I'm not going to lie. This is probably my first time saying this. It got addictive. I got addicted to, which is nothing wrong with this, addicted to serving my community. I got addicted to them getting results, creating their dream schedules, being able to travel. Like, I don't know how many people tagged me in 2021 and 2022 saying, Dr. TK, I took my first class flight for the first time, where I was able to take my family on a trip here. I was able to take my family to Walt Disney World. One of my clients was like, we had our one-on-one mastermind coaching call. And I was like, where are you? She said, oh, I'm at the Dolphin Resort in Walt Disney World. Her kids were teenagers. And she was like, they don't go to the parks. I got their ticket because I don't want to hang out with them. I'm going to go downstairs, because she had another investment workshop that she had to attend to. So she went to Florida for that. That is not where she lived at. And I was just like, oh my God, this is so fire. Like, I literally saw people's lives change primarily, and this is what I'm getting into for why I'm bringing this up today, is I started to feel like, wow, by me simply sharing who I am, what is possible for other people, and not being afraid to share with people tangible and non-tangible, abundant experience as a result of me serving my people and showing up as my best self in my business, it's automatically paying it forward. That shit gets addictive, okay? Addictive, because when I win, they win. When they win, other people win. When everybody wins, I still win. My biggest thing right now is, if I have a table, I want everybody to pull up a seat. Now, everybody won't accept my invitation. Why? Because the invitation usually requires two of the hardest things for people to make themselves say yes to, because you have a choice. And the two things are, I'm going to say three: time, money, and commitment. People say, I don't have time, but you're making a whole lot of time for what is not your dream life. You feel me? Commitment. Oh, I don't know if I can commit to like a program for 6 months. I mean, when you done committed for 6 months for being broke, you know what I'm saying? So why not commit to 6 months? And when you commit, you'll get your ROI back for years. Not 6 months, but for years. Because I want to make that clear. Business is not an overnight success. In our mastermind or in our coaching programs, we will teach you something, but you're in consumption mode. You may not even be in full implementation mode until you're done with that cohort, unless you renew. And we've had students renew in our programs or come back. And the second phase or the second stage that they come in is the implementation phase, but maybe they need that container to be accountable to get the work done, right? And so it was just phenomenal for me to see so many people winning, and they were sharing that they were winning. So that was 2021. Your girl was doing work-life integration hard, traveling with her family. At that time, my youngest son was in daycare. Eldest son was elementary, so we had way more flexibility, no sports, things like that. And then in 2022, they kept going. In 2023, I decided, Takesha, girl, you need to slow down, because even though I'm loving what I'm doing and I didn't even feel like I was working, I can start to feel like there were certain personal goals and family goals that may start getting put on the back burner. Kind of like when you go to college and don't want to have a baby until you're done with college kind of thing. I felt like that was starting to happen again. And I noticed it when I was sitting down and being still and talking to God. And he was like, you're not even making room for like, why you at this doctor's appointment? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you doing all this if you're not even going to have room to entertain the blessings that, I want to give you? You're filling up your schedule so much with great things, Takesha, but you're not allowing yourself just to be. And I was like, huh. So I kept hearing that message like over and over again, actually back in 2022. So in 2023, I decided to practice slowing down and speed up. I didn't renew in a mastermind that I had been a part of. So keep in mind, I had been in masterminds since 2015, probably 2014. I've been in masterminds since 2014. It wasn't until 2022 that I said, I need a break. So some of y'all are like, I've been in a coaching program for 6 months. I need a break. A break for what? All you did was consume the information and you went to a live event. Congratulations. Now it's time to get to work. You still need additional support to do the work, to now check your work, right? And so, okay, let's keep going. So in 2023, these are the changes that I made. I slowed down the amount of launches that I was having for our core program, the Private Practice DTA program. I slowed down the amount of audio podcasts that I was creating because honestly, I just wasn't feeling it no more. I felt like I had created so much content on the Private Practice podcast where I can literally just take my old episodes, which I see people do all the time, and I can literally just like repurpose it and put it out again and maybe dice them up because some of them were long. I can take some of these workshops I've done on YouTube and make an audio version of it and make it a whole damn 2-week series. There is so much content to be repurposed, right? But I just start slowing down all the way. At the end of January, I had the biggest DTA launch in 2023 that I had ever had in my life. To give y'all some perspective, we had experienced 6-figure launches before, all throughout 2021 and 2022. Actually, it started in 2020. We had our first 6-figure launch in one program at the end of 2020. Then we had a couple of 6-figure launches throughout the other 2 years, right? But this was my first time cash collected, getting in a 1-week time frame. Of course, work went in, $90,000. I didn't even know what to do with myself. Some of y'all may be like, girl, that's like my whole salary at my job, right? And I was just like, what am I supposed to do? So I had a CPA, we put it in a Abundant CEO fund, not the one where I get a handbag, but the Abundant CEO fund where we're going to store it away because we knew we had a conference that year. We knew that every time we have a live event, it's always more than what we anticipate, right? Our live events are no less than $30K. And that's not how much we generate from ticket sales. I'm gonna leave it there. So we knew we needed to put away a security deposit. We also knew that with additional recurring revenue that was coming down the pipeline, that we still have our mastermind students to take care of. And one thing that I often forget about, I'm gonna be fully transparent about this, is when I'm even deciding what the price point will be in terms of value for the program, I kid you not, even for like a VIP experience, which is typically around $2,200 to $2,500 at the lowest, right? I will forget that I'm the speaker because I'm having so much damn fun. I'm just like my son said, you meeting with your friends, your work friends, like my youngest son, like you working with your friends? Because he's been there a few times and he's seen us dance and things like that. And so sometimes I forget that I should be paying myself because yes, I'm on salary, but that is 3 days nonstop beyond me working with my clients, like 12 to 14-hour days. So if you had a job and you were clocking in, Takesha, how much would you be paying yourself? And I'm going to let y'all know who've been to our live events. If I was clocking how much me and my team spend in terms of hours preparing for an event, shopping for an event, creating the content for the event, delegating tasks out for the event, my team members working before they get to the event and having more than long work hours, like 16-hour days with breaks, you know what I'm saying, for a live event, and then the debriefing of a live event, then serving because we probably launched something after a live event. No lie, if I can just throw out a number, the VIP experiences hands down would be at minimum double, $5K. The mastermind, hands down, would be $24K. It's valued at way more than that Because in a mastermind, I give you my time. I give you my time either on Zoom, on Voxer, multiple times, group Zoom as well. And we fly and go to live events. You know what I'm saying? So over time, I just realized I really need to get a grip on what is it that I actually want to do in my business, because at the rat race your girl is running, and I don't feel the rat race until November and December, your girl tired. So in January, after me having that big launch, my CPA was like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I just want to stay with having like 3 to 4 maybe DTA launches. But I started to question if I wanted to have another mastermind launch, and this is why. The Mastermind was the program that I've always wanted. I've always wanted a core group of clients that I can see and follow their progress on an intimate level for months, at minimum 6 months at a time. And I've recognized with the Mastermind students that have been through our cohorts over the last 4 years, by far, it brings me and them joy for us to know the full ins and outs of every stream of income in the mental health field that they have, because you can't hide behind a Zoom thumbnail when it's only 4 y'all on a call, 6 of y'all on a call, at max 24 y'all on a call. And the reason I'm giving different numbers, because we've had different numbers in different cohorts. So we've had cohorts of 19, 21, and 12. Right? Because one of our cohorts repeated itself for like 2 years in a row, and then like 4 people like swapped out. But that's also the benefit of being in a mastermind, is that you realize that it's more than, oh, I need to learn something to scale my business. Let me learn it and get out. I was part of masterminds for so long, and some masterminds I was a part of for 3 to 4 years each, is primarily because of the connection that you have with the people in there. And you may be thinking, well, I can connect with them outside. You are in a container with a coach, with a team, with the ability to format experiences for your business that will transform your life. And the things that we talk about and the things that come out of your experiences in that mastermind is like no other. Period. Right? So this is what happened in 2023. Now I finally get to my notes. So I started to notice in January, and I alluded to this on one of my podcasts or a few of them, that my mood started to shift. Now, when I look back, because I'm now 44, I don't know if it was because I'm getting older. People say the perimenopause, like all those things, right? And I'm just like, I just feel like it could be holistically like biological, but I'm not sure. I feel like it's something else. And listen to your gut. So I'm sitting here talking to my Facebook ads agency person that he ran my ads for like 2 years, and we're talking about like something else and catching up because I used to be in a mastermind with him. And we were talking about how in that particular moment, both of our businesses stopped seeing clients one-on-one in our mastermind level programs. And he said, I'm not going to lie, TK, he was like, my wife don't like to do one-on-ones, but I do. I actually need one-on-ones to feel fulfilled. And like the light bulb went off, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what it is. Your girl don't feel fulfilled. So what did I do? When I realized that I wanted to slow down, I took too much off my plate at a time, right? So we may be thinking like, oh, but you were leveraging your time. You were scaling your time because my money didn't go down. But I'm just like, why did I remove so many things? And I had my reasons, right? We still had the mastermind. We still had DTA. We still had like live events and things like that. But I started to even remove, and I reduced the price for certain programs because I had removed a piece of me. So that's what happened in January. Then I realized that it was leverage time versus being unfulfilled, because I thought that I was leveraging my time when in essence I was setting myself up, honestly, to not do well. I don't want to say fail, right? So what I did is I took a year to think about like, what would my life be like if I sat back down, pulled out my journal or pulled out my phone, visualized what my dream life to look like again. And hands down, 2023, I will say without any shadow of a doubt, and it's 2024, so it may change next year, you feel me? But right now, I can 100% say last year, 2023, I was living my dream life. The only 2 things that I feel were missing, but God has not placed those 2 things in my life yet, is another child, like we want to expand our family, and a new home, right? But let me break down the things, let me break down the things that we were able to do as a family and as a business and as a community in 2023. So this is how I was living out my ideal life. In terms of family, I had unlimited amounts of time, and I think that's where I started feeling bored. And I know that business is going to be boring when you have things in place. But I felt unfulfilled bored, not just bored, right? I was able to, y'all know I love to travel if you know me, right? I love to travel. So I was able to intertwine both work-life integration, meaning bringing my family to business trips like New York to Orlando to Las Vegas. But I was also able just to have family trips like to Hawaii. We went on a Disney cruise. We went to Paris. We did Paris the year before in Disney cruise at the end of 2022. But I feel like the feeling went into 2023. But we went to Jamaica also for a wedding, but around my birthday in September of 2023. I also started to slow down my product suite. So I still had DTA, but not as many launches. I still had the mastermind, but I was okay with having half of the cohort. We had digital product communities like membership programs that year. And some of y'all know we had the Therapists Deserve Abundance conference for the second year that I was not intending on having. And then I ended up announcing it in March because of all this time I had, January to March in 2023. For some of y'all who wondering, like, how did she even decide to have it? Because I could have swore she said she wasn't going to have it. And it was just more of like me listening to God and him saying like, I gave you, girl, the vision back in 2018 that your voice is destined to be on stages. And he showed me what the stages were. The stages were YouTube, podcasts, and most importantly, my on stage in addition to others. But in the meantime, create your own stage. You don't have to be a keynote speaker and be invited to someone else's stage. So that was a nugget right there. Some of y'all might be complaining like, oh my God, only 5 people saw my video. Well, when was the last time you had a workshop with 5 people in person? Some of y'all never. Oh my God, it only had 1,000 views, but I wanted 10 on that reel. It was a trending sound. When was the last time you got on a stage and spoke in front of 10,000 people? How many times have you spoke to 1,000? Can you be grateful for the 1,000 so that God can bless you with the 10? Start getting good at speaking in front of the 1,000 or the 5. I will literally go live and talk to one person. And that one person may swap out to multiple ones of people. But somebody got the message. Somebody out there is listening to what you're saying. And they want what you got. So be authentically, as they say, yourself. Okay? So I had the conference. In terms of team and support, I had a video editor, podcast editor, student success team, also customer service, YouTube team, operations. Operations means like attorney, taxes, CPA, bookkeeper, like all that kind of stuff, right? And like I said, I was able to do work-life travel integration. I also continued to do my family thing. I hosted like holiday celebrations. And then I let my sister-in-law, she was like, I want to do Thanksgiving. Cool. I'll do Christmas Eve and Christmas. But I was manifesting like crazy also my dream clients, whether it be in my group programs or one-on-one. And I was also manifesting a lot of great opportunities for like speaking, being on people's podcasts and things like that. So when I look back over the last 4 years, I'm just like, wow, 2023 was it. Like, and to the point where if I ever feel, and this is like the benefit of documenting your life, okay? I'm not saying you got to show your personal life, but I will say when people document like I do online, whether it be family excursions to Walt Disney World, Disneyland every Friday with my son or something like that, the benefit of it is people may say it's selfish content, but what I'm showing people is I have a flexible schedule where if I can afford to go to Disneyland, I'm going to go because I enjoy going with my family or my son. I don't need to go out of town to enjoy life. I don't even need to go to Disneyland to enjoy life. We can have a talent show upstairs in the living room. Okay. We can go on the playground. Okay. And so bottom line is I'm showing my community, y'all, that you define what your abundance looks like. And I realized looking back at the tail end of 2022, but specifically 2023, the pace that I was living my life is what I love. And in 2024, because I was so discombobulated with my unfulfilled thoughts. I was just like, I don't know if I want to have another conference, because I'm not going to lie, financially, with that pot of money, it put us in the hole, meaning I had to extract from other pots of money to pay for the conference, right? I chose not to relaunch the mastermind because I needed a break. And it wasn't a break from the mastermind, because people will tell you I miss the mastermind community, which is why we are bringing it back for 2025. But I needed that time off to reflect, also so that you can give yourself permission and time to reflect as well. You know, because some of you have lived certain components of your year as your best self, as your best life, but you look at the whole year in its totality, and then you say, these 5 bad things happened, so it wasn't that good. That's not true. It was very much great. Okay. So what ended up happening in 2024, I definitely slowed down again the launches. I started offering, just to want to pay it forward and do what I do well, I started offering limited one-on-one coaching. I'm letting you know, if you're watching this, kind of like how we had a special deal for our mastermind back in 2020. Some of y'all may know this. We had 2 different levels because not everybody financially at that time was able to do what we call the whole mastermind experience. So we gave them the opportunity to participate in the group activities, but not the one-on-one, not the bonus in-person, like more intimate first day of our mastermind versus a 2-day mastermind. So after that first year, we said, oh, that was a 2020 special. 2020 is over. We know that the people who get the whole program get the best results. So if you would like to renew, you get the whole program, which means that the investment, yes, is going to be higher, but so is the access and so is your transformation, period. Okay. So what I'm saying is, some of the things that I have been offering in 2024 is null and void effective right now, especially at the price points, which was like a gift for those of y'all who took advantage of it, with like one-on-one coaching, and other things that I was doing, like smaller live events, online workshops, like a lot of that stuff. I'm not saying it's not going to come back, but it's going to come back in a different structure. For example, my time when I have the mastermind one-on-one is only to those one-on-one students. All my other programs are in a group format. It doesn't mean they can't show up and ask their individualized questions, but I am choosing to use my reflection and time with God and my aha moments in terms of me realizing, that's where I was going with the documentation in terms of YouTube, is that I will often go to what's called I may rename it, but right now it's called like the Team Rudd Family Vault. And I have it for 2021, 2022, and 2023. Those are all of our family experiences, holiday parties, travel, and things like that we did, across those years. And then I extracted like things that were work related into like the mastermind vault. I'll make sure that that's on the playlist. But what I do is I go back and I watch those videos. I was watching it this morning. And what it did for me and what it does to this current date is it reminds me of how good life in God is, y'all. He is good. And sometimes when you're in a hole, or you're feeling unfulfilled, or you're not feeling like things are working out maybe all the way for the good, and there's things that are thrown into your life and you're like, why do I have to deal with this? Like, I haven't dealt with enough, whether it's business or personal. I'm letting you know right now, the ability to go back and look at your vault is powerful. Your vault may be in your journal. It may be in your phone. I mean, some of us got 30,000 pictures on our phone. For me, it's on my phone. It's on YouTube. And what lights me up the most, more of a personal nature, is I introduce myself in this order most of the time. Unless I'm like on somebody's stage and I'm talking about like being a business coach or whatever. I will say, I am a wife, I am a mom, I'm a psychologist, and I love living and creating an abundant lifestyle based off having a thriving business. In that order. Of course, God comes first. And the reason it's in that order is because that's how I'm choosing to live my life. That's how I'm choosing to feature my life and document my life online. It lights me up as a mother. when my children can be on a trip and then somehow they end up on YouTube and they're on my channel because there's no commercials or whatever, right? So somehow a family vlog comes up. And I remember we were in Florida and it was like 21 of us. And the adults were outside, the kids were all in the living room playing games. And my eldest child, he usually don't do this, but I thought it was so fascinating. I felt like he was probably doing it like showing off low key. He's a teenager. But it was just like, he was like, oh, look at us. Like we got a YouTube channel. And it was like all the kids watching all the documentation of all the family gatherings because we live in separate states. And it was cool because they were like, oh man, but she got her camera. She been videotaping us this whole Walt Disney World trip. Ooh, Keisha, you know, my family. Keisha, like, when you gonna come out with our video? And I did. We came out with like 3 to 4 videos, right? And so it lights me up when we're at home. And my little, he can say, oh, mommy, we on TV. What's crazy is the other day I went to LA for a nonprofit like podcast. I work with the reentry population, people who've been in prison and in jail. And I come to their podcast, honestly, to not be their therapist. Let me be clear, but we have a full chit chat with just talking like about life experiences. I hear their life experiences. They hear mine, but I want to be clear. If you watch those episodes, I'm not their therapist, which is why I don't intervene a lot, because we have a pre-chat and then we have a post debriefing chat. And then I will make recommendations if I feel like something came up on those episodes and I need to refer them to a provider, not me, right? But my son saw it and he was like, mommy, you on the news, because he saw me sitting in a podcast studio that's very different than my office. And I sat in a chair, had the microphone in front of me, and he don't know that's a podcast studio. He was just like, oh, you on the news. And then the neighbor, it popped up on the TV and his youngest son was like, hey, is that TK? Is that Avery's mom? She on TV? That lights up my life, because think about it. When I'm no longer on this earth, my child, my eldest child, they will be able to share with their children that can share with their children their life. We're beyond photo albums. Photo albums are cool, but these days video shows emotion. It shows the journey. So that's why I took my time today sharing with you the journey of what's been happening with me emotionally. It's been rough. I've had crying spells. I've had anger outbursts. I've had anxiety, panic attacks up the yin yang in 2024. I know how to mask things, but it doesn't mean I'm not working through my own stuff with help. Okay. And different types of health, whether it's spiritual, mental, mindset, money. Like, I am working on everything at my pace. So I'm also sharing that no one is perfect. And despite what you may see online, you know your girl is always going to keep it real. So let me know in the comment section, what was your biggest takeaway from what I talked about today? Was it you need to reflect on your journey? Matter of fact, maybe put that in there as well. What is it that you need to reflect on so that you can set yourself up for greatness for the next year? Because I feel like even talking to y'all right now in a non-workshopy type of way is actually what I prefer to do anyway. Bars. Like, I could just talk like this, right? This is me. Like, this is me talking to my team members. Like, we be shooting the breeze, right? We get down to business. But if somebody were to probably see our Zoom team meetings, they'd be like, is this shit a team meeting? Like, if they see me dancing, I mean, I showcase it a little bit on Instagram. If y'all were to see me dancing before I have a live event, y'all be like, she a psychologist? You know what I'm saying? I'm human. Bottom line is, if you're new here, my name is Dr. TK, clinical psychologist, therapist, business coach, wife, mom, mentor, right? I'm your girl. And so I love talking about abundant living, all things raw, real, uncut as well. But of course, we also get down to those business things along with mixing in some family abundant vlogs. And so if you want to come back, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up. If you are returning, hey girl, hey, what's up, guy? I love y'all. I hope to see y'all. I know I'll see y'all in the next video. Until then, make sure that you also tap in on Instagram. I do some things over there on the stories where I'm just walking y'all through my day. You know, when I'm having an okay day or even when I'm not, I'll be like, hey, this is what the real deal is. Of course, it's not my personal diary, right? But I do let y'all in on more of the behind the scenes and things like that. So I will see y'all in the next car or office chit chat. Until then, love y'all. Bye.